And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Have you read the newest version of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living? Yeah, it's out now. It's out, my friends. I tell you what, one of my favorite books ever, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. I'll never forget years ago in my life when, like a lot of people, worry and stress was really getting to me, and I picked up this book, and the wisdom in this book is absolutely priceless. And I just wanted to share it because I was going through the new version of the book right now, and it's got all the great stuff the original one did, plus more. And I wanted to share with you just a page to remind ourselves of what we need to do to lower our worry, our stress, our anxiety. And this is right out of chapter 1. And I'm going to share with you some words that Dale Carnegie wrote in this book. He said, here's a quote that he actually references: "Happy the man, and happy he alone. He who can call today all his own. He who, secure within, can say, in tomorrow, do thy worst, for I have lived today." Now, Dale Carnegie asked, who wrote these words? They sound modern. They could be somewhat modern. But he says they were written 30 years before Christ was born by the Roman poet Horace. He said, one of the most tragic things Dale Carnegie shares with us that I know about human nature is that all of us tend to put off living. We are all dreaming of some magical rose garden over the horizon instead of enjoying the roses that are blooming outside our window today. Why are we such fools, such tragic fools? Interestingly enough, as Dale Carnegie goes on to talk about the experiences of witnessing so many people that were only going through half life, half living, and not embracing the opportunity or seeing what's around them, is it makes you think about, in every moment, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Whether it's the end of today, or whether it's the next meeting that you have, or the next conversation you have, how do you want to feel at the end of that conversation? How do you want to feel at the end of that meeting? How do you want to feel at the end of the day? And when you stop and think about that, it really resets and reframes what are you to do? Well, how do I want to feel? I want to feel good at the end of this conversation. So, okay, what do I have to do during this conversation so that I feel good, and what does good mean to me? And these are the questions we have to ask ourselves, because a lot of us never ask these questions of how do I want to feel right now, and how do I want to feel when this conversation is over? And how do I want to reflect on this moment of my life later on? And when you start to put this in perspective, and you start to realize how much time that we're wasting in our life, allowing negativity and negative thoughts to enter our head that clutter our mind, that take us away from the abundant life we should be living, you need to ask yourself right now, again, how do I want to feel right now? And how do I want to feel in this moment? And how do I want to reflect on this moment? And whether it's a conversation, a lot of times people don't realize you can take this concept, and Dale Carnegie called it day-tight compartments, and compartmentalize your life. You've heard the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? Well, you eat it one bite at a time. Unless you're a vegan, then you don't eat it at all, correct? But the point being is that you take things one step at a time, because the whole can be overwhelming. So you do one thing at a time. And in this next conversation you're going to have with somebody, it could be a really important conversation. How do you want to feel during the conversation, and how do you want to feel after the conversation is over? And a lot of people don't reflect on that, to think about that, and then they worry about it, they stress about it, or they regret what they did or did not say in that conversation, and it haunts them for a period of time. Some people, it haunts them their entire life, that conversation wasn't the conversation that they wanted to have, and that the conversation took a wrong direction for a multitude of reasons. But that being said, what were you holding yourself accountable to during that conversation? And what you can hold yourself accountable to is how you want to feel. So when I say this, I get this, or I expect this reaction. When I get that reaction, how will I feel about that reaction that I've created? You have to ask yourself these questions in every conversation. And if you do this, then you're going to have better conversations. You're going to have better outcomes. And every moment of your day, if you actually think in the back of your head, how do I want to feel at the end of this conversation? And it seems so simplistic, and it's going to take work. I'm going to share with you right now, it's going to take work to think about every situation that you're in and how do you maximize that time to live in that day-to-day compartment to make sure that you feel good when you reflect back on that conversation or that activity, that event, to feel good about what you do, how you handled it, and how your day is going. And my friends, if you learn to live in day-to-day compartments, you will learn to give yourself a better life. Now go make it happen.